Hi everyone and welcome to week 30. This week I'm going to show you how to use the Neptune pitch adjuster and voice synth that's included in Record 1.5. And I'm going to do something that I have never done in any of my music before. I'm going to sing. Yes, that's correct, you heard me. I'm going to let you hear exactly how bad my singing voice is without the aid of something like Neptune. I know that from reading our forums there are quite a few people that haven't quite figured out how to use Neptune properly yet. And I hope that this video and my upcoming embarrassing vocal tracks will give you all the info that you need to make your vocal parts sound much better. For this video, I've created a sort of a dub reggae cover of the Tom York song Atoms for Peace, which is from his solo album The Eraser. I have only decided to sing 2 lines from the first verse so as to keep the torture to an absolute minimum. And you're going to thank me later, believe me. Okay, so here in all of its glory is my vocal without any pitch correction or any effects. No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes. No more falling down a wormhole that I have to pull you out. Whew. All right, now let's add a Neptune to the vocal track as an insert effect. For now, I'm going to leave the correction speed at 12 o'clock. As I listen to the vocal, I can see that Neptune is showing the pitch that I am attempting to sing. In order to make sure that none of the other bad pitches come through, I will only select the notes at the bottom that I want to hear and turn up the catch zone size so that any notes outside of the range will automatically be adjusted to the notes I have selected, removing any bum notes I probably sang. Also, you may want to try turning the wide vibrato switch on and off to see if the correction sounds any better. If the vocal track has a lot of vibrato, then Neptune may attempt to correct that vibrato, and that could result in a lot of stepping and warbling sounds. I can hear that my vocal sounds better with the wide vibrato on. No more falling down a wormhole that I have to pull you out. Next, I'm going to play around with the correction speed. Since my vocal is not the best to begin with, and I'm kind of going for a more robotic sound, I'm going to turn the correction speed knob up quite a bit. No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes. If my vocal were of a better quality, I would probably go more towards the 9 to 10 o'clock setting. But it is not, so I'm happy with about a 3 or 4 o'clock setting. Also, I noticed that for the first line, I had a weird pitch get detected in one of the lower keys, and I do not want it to come through. So I will create a scale memory slot that is for the first line of the vocal. On the second line of the vocal, I need some of the lower notes of the keyboard to be active so it can correct some of the notes I attempted to sing in a higher key. For this, I will create a new scale memory slot with those notes active and also adjust the catch zone size again. Now I'm going to need to automate a scale memory change for Neptune for this part, so I need to create a track in the sequencer for it by right-clicking on the Neptune and selecting Create Track for Neptune. While the song is playing back, I can record the scale memory changes as automation. No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes. No more falling down a wormhole that I have to pull you out. The next thing I wanted to do was add an effect of me singing one octave lower. By selecting the audio track in the sequencer and using the duplicate tracks and devices from the Edit menu, which is either Control-D or Command or Apple-D, I will get an exact copy of that track. Now I just use the transpose function for Neptune on this track and set it to -12, and then adjust the format so it sounds a bit more natural.
No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes. No more falling down a wormhole that I have to pull you out.
One thing I needed to do with this particular vocal before applying any of the Neptune magic was to use the EQ, the compression, and some gating so that the vocal was as clean as possible without any offending frequencies. Using the high-pass filter, low-pass filter, and the channel EQ really helped with that. So make sure that you do that with any vocal that you're going to run through Neptune first as well. Now I'll add some effects so that the vocal is a bit more washed out to fit the vibe of the track.
No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes. No more falling down a wormhole that I have to pull you out.
If I wanted to add some harmonies using the voice synth of the first Neptune, I would make sure that there is a MIDI track in the sequencer for that Neptune, which we created earlier by right-clicking on the Neptune and then selecting Create Track for Neptune. Make sure that the MIDI destination is set to Voice Synth, and then with that Neptune track selected in the sequencer, play the notes on your keyboard that you would like to be harmonies at the exact place in the song where you want them to be.
No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes. No more falling down a wormhole that I have to pull you out.
Since this is MIDI note data that's getting recorded, I can always go back and fix any of the notes that I recorded and try out different harmony notes to see what works for me.
No more going to the dark side with your flying saucer eyes.
Of course, there are many other things that you can do with Neptune, and I do plan on getting into more of the tweaky stuff in an episode later on. Well, that's it for this week. Again, I'm James Bernard from Propellerhead Software, and I'll see you all next week.